Our SMS line, that's 21222. Straight away, we take you to Nakuru County, and here is our reporter, Kigotho Mwangi, with an update from that region. Kigotho?
As you can see, I am surrounded by beautiful ladies who look like air hostess. I am not in JKIA or Eldoret. I am in the CBD of Nakuru County, whereby today we are interacting with staffs and officials of Prestige Tours and Travels, award-winning circle that has revolutionized the way PSV has been seen over the years. The NTSA has recognized them for being the best in terms of service delivery, in terms of giving service to people and also passengers in this area. As you can see, they are smartly dressed, I can say that, and they are also appealing. How do they attract customers towards their vehicles, and how do they create employment from what they are doing? And now joining me is the head of this hostess and also one of the lead hostesses in these vehicles. Imagine, they are just matatus, normal matatus, but they have revolutionized how we see public service vehicles. Kindly, unaweza kuzungumza kwa Kiswahili utuambie kwa sasa mliweza kupewa zawadi na NTSA na mashirika mengine ambayo yaliweza kuwapa mazawadi kwa sababu ya kuweza kutoa huduma kwa watu. Pengine hizi huduma mnazifanya namna gani? Utaanza kwa jina.
Okay, huduma zetu ni za
Utaanza kwa jina.
Okay, majina yangu naitwa Caroline Duko. This is Nakuru office where we work. I'm the head of the hostess. Kazi yetu tunayofanya hapa ni kukaribisha wageni, that is the customers. They are our kings. We handle them very careful. Tuna make sure wameridhika.
Naam, tumezoea stage ambazo kwamba ukienda pale pengine kuna kukimbizana, mzigo unawekwa kwenye gari nyingine alafu wewe passenger unawekwa kwa gari nyingine. Je, hapa nyinyi mnakimbizana na customers?
No, please, we do it professional. Hapa tunafanya kazi kwa utaratibu, tunaheshimu customer wetu. Mambo ya kuvuta wateja si vizuri, ni kuwakosea heshima. Tunaongelesha customer vizuri, tunamkaribisha, tunamweka kwa ofisi, tunamuuliza jina, namba yake ya simu, pia tunampa nafasi, fursa kuchagua kiketi chenye angependa kukalia. Yes.
Na pengine kuna masomo yoyote ambayo unawapeleka watu ambao pengine mnafanya kazi nao, naona ni wengi sana. Je, kuna masomo mnawapeleka shuleni?
Ndio, tuna training. Mtu akiuliza kazi hapa, akifaulu, kuna interviews, then akienda through interview, akifaulu, unakuwa na training ya 1 month, ndio kupata hiyo ratiba yetu, the base ya kazi. Na pia kuna continuous training. Tunafanya karibu kila Mondays, tunaongelesha, we do keep talking to them, ndio tuweze kuimprove hizi standards zetu. Pengine
unafurahia kazi ambayo unaifanya, na pengine unafurahia kila wakati ambapo wale watu wanakuja, wateja wanakuja na wanakupata pale, unafurahia kazi?
Ndio, nafurahia. Nafurahia kazi yangu kwa maana ndio inanipa.
Utasema jina?
Kwa majina naitwa Eunice Wamboi. Nafanya kazi hapa Prestige. Na pia nafurahia kuwa pamoja na hii kampuni.
Na pengine kuna wale ambao wanafanya kazi hii pale mtaani na pengine hawajapata mafunzo ambayo mmepata. Je, mnaweza kuwa encourage namna gani, especially a boy child?
Tunaweza waambia wanaweza kuja watu join hapa, wale ambao wana kazi wanaweza kuja watu join hapa, cause being in Prestige it's like being in home.
So, we can just speak to the director himself, and maybe he can tell us exactly how they achieve whatever they do. Bwana Bishop, unaweza kutuambia pengine kwa kifupi sana mmeweza kupata awards ngapi ama zawadi ngapi, na kwa sasa utaanza na jina, na kwa sasa what are your plans? Are you creating more employment?
Ya naam, shukran sana. Mimi naitwa Pastor Steve Wambua, mimi ni director Prestige Tours and Travel, na pia mimi ni mchungaji, nina kanisa hapa Nakuru. Nashukuru Mungu. Awards zile ambazo tumepata ni nyingi. Our first award we got in 2014. Prestige Tours and Travel was incorporated in 2010. But immediately after almost hard work of 4 years, we were able to get the first award, na tulipewa na Insurance Association of Kenya kwa sababu ya kuwa the best managed matatu number 2. So we don't begin as number 1, but we began as number 2. Na since 2014, I can assure you ya kwamba almost every year tumekuwa tukipata award.
What makes you the customer's choice? What makes you stand out?
We want to stand out and not to fit in because of the services zile ambazo tunapeana. For a long time, the matatu sector, it has been chaotic, but our services are customer oriented. So the customer is ndio tunampea priority in what we do. Kwa hivyo kitu ambacho kinafanya customer waje kwetu pale ni kwa sababu ya zile services ambazo tunawapea. Nothing else is the service that we give them. We give a notch higher service to them. Now we make sure ya kwamba customer amepata value for their money. Naam.
Sam Njoroge, this is just a beginning. We have tackled the issue of Nakuru City being Nakuru town being a city, and this is one of those things that we are looking at. The transport system, the security, the infrastructure, drainage and water, population, some of the things that stand out in this area. We will be looking into other aspects of this city as we go on, and we will be bringing them live to you. My name is Kigodho Mwangi, and my camera person is John Wangombe, live from Nakuru County. We take you back to Sam Njoroge, and if you need a ride, then you know where to go.
Thank you, Kigodho Mwangi, for that update. And this PSV company was awarded by NTSA just the other day. So definitely a story that Kigodho Mwangi has brought forth. And now we move on to yet another story that is creating content for news centers across the country. And that is the meeting by cabinet ministers, women cabinet ministers, drawn from all the 53 Commonwealth countries. That meeting is currently ongoing. It is an initiative spearheaded by the Ministry of Public Service and Gender, that is under Cabinet Secretary Professor Margaret Kobia. Is currently ongoing, and the President is expected to preside over this event to officially open this event. So let's just cross over and listen in to the conversation that is currently ongoing in Westlands. Right, we are still in the process of just making sure that we capture the sound bites and the punchlines for you from a hotel in Westlands, and we shall keep interacting with our story in the course of the daily brief. If not, then definitely during our subsequent bulletins. Let's move back to Parliament, and here is the Departmental Committee on Lands Vetting. Former Nyeri Town Member of Parliament, Esther Murugi, she is being vetted for the position of member with the National Lands Commission. We've been listening to this event for the better part of the hour, so let's cross over and listen in more.
Thank you, Chair, and to the nominee, the Honorable Murugi, Mama Simba from Nyeri County. Good to see you, and we wish you all the best. I may want to ask you two questions, generally for the interest of the public. Number one, you have extensively deliberated on the issue of Mugi Property Consultant, which is a firm which is offering valuation. And as a committee and Kenyans, basically, we have suffered in the hands of the National Lands Commission as far as compensation, especially the what you call compulsory acquisition is concerned. And we want to know if today you're here and you're vetting you, we ask you what's your net worth, and from where you sit, you give us a rough estimate. What confidence would you build in Kenyans that when it comes to issues of compensation, particularly make what the issue of the Honorable Manje from Kajiado County, where the National Lands Commission already they started establishing the SGR, but the members of public were never compensated. And the question was they could not agree. The National Lands Commission had a figure, the surveyors had another figure. And I think basically our question is around confidence and what you're going to do to see that from the onset you don't set a bad precedent, that you come out as somebody who is clear-candid about what you believe in and what is truthful and factful, and have based that in line with compensation of land and figures that the public should get. And question of cartels, which has been sitting in the National Lands Commission, people who want to float and they want to exaggerate the costing so that they get some kickbacks. I may not be afraid to say that Question number 2, I may want you to give Kenyans a position now that we are vetting you in regards to the ongoing Mau eviction. What do you think as a commissioner? And what would be your explanation to any state officer who may stand and declare that a title deed is just but a mere piece of paper? We saw you when I was a young girl when you served as the Minister of Special Program, and I may want to remind you a case of Kagoshi, people who are squatters and who lived in the forest, someplace in the Mount Kenya, and you and the former President Mwai Kibaki, you foresaw the settlement of these people as internally displaced people. I may also want you to make your pronouncement on what you think the government should do as far as the Mau forest is concerned, if indeed the eviction will continue. Thank you so much, Chair. Honorable Murugi, and the question from the Honorable Kutuni will be the last, so that we are able to manage time.
Chair, I think Honorable Murugi did not answer my question.
Which one? Which one?
Can
you please paraphrase it?
What role, or what is in her view, is the role of National Land Commission in registering titles of public land to avoid grabbing?
Sure, she's noted. Let's have the final question from the Honorable Kutuni.
I want to supplement, Kate's question. Madam Chair, and for me, I will go back to the archives where Waziri, and of course, earlier on you had gagged us that we should not talk about, the earlier experience. Because I was in the 10th Parliament and she was a minister for,
Honorable Kutuni, I actually protected the Honorable Kimani, and we allowed him to speak. So if you may just speak, but stick to the point and the question, it will help us
on the issues of Mau. On the issues of Mau, you dealt with it specifically. In 2012, you handled the issue of Mau. And I can quote in summary a report that the Ministry of Special Program has finally resettled the first batch of Mau evictees 3 years after they were flushed out of the water tower. The politics at that time. And again, it goes further to talk about 240 households given land at Chemusian Farm in Kipkabos, Eldoret, as Special Programs Minister assures others they will be resettled. And I want to quote you, although there have been a lot of challenges in trying to resettle them, we are happy with the progress. We are almost through with settling of IDPs, but the first batch of forest evictees has been resettled today. It goes further, we are in the process of identifying land to settle others. Now, you're going to sit in this commission. In the Land Act 2012, the commission shall implement settlement programs on behalf of national and county government as outlined in Section 134 of the Land Act. Now, with the experience and the role that you played at that time, and it confirms what I said recently, that there was a process, and the government had initiated a process of resettling the people of Mau, regardless on the issue of the ownership, if they've got the title or they don't have title. For those ones who had the title, the government, of course, did the audit and confirmed that there were title deeds and that it was legit. And for those who did not have title, they were treated as squatters. And the report here that I have confirmed that the ministry had started the process of resettling these people. On the same docket, or in the same breath, are you going to be committed in resettling the Mau evictees as the way you had started earlier when you were the cabinet secretary or the minister at that time? Thank you. Yeah.
So then you have all those questions. It's the last set, so go ahead and respond.
If I miss somebody's question, perhaps you can just raise your hand so that you can address it. So I'll start with Honorable Jane Kehara. One of the mandates for the National Land Commission was to identify and register all the public land and even the private land, so that we know we have like a bank of land, so that we know what is public land and how it has to be used. I doubt that went very far, so I think that is one of the first jobs that we should do, identifying public land and also identifying even privately owned land, so that you know what is owned privately, what is public, what is community, and other lands that are there. So I think that is one of the jobs that we are going to do, and I think the purpose for having this as a mandate was so that you can prevent people from grabbing. And unless it's done and done urgently, grabbing will still continue. Then Honorable Mwinyi said on historical injustices that nothing was done. I wouldn't say yes or no, but once we get into the office, we'll be able to know what, if anything was done, and if it wasn't done, then we have to start right from the beginning so that we can address it. But I'm sure if you ask the outgoing commission, they will say they did something. So we need to get there and find out whether it's true or not and exactly what was done. On the issue of land use, I would look at the issue of land use a little bit different from what you have said. For me, land use is the maximum economic use of land. And so that if you use land for one purpose, you don't injure the other. And my concern today is if you look with the vicinity of Nairobi, the outskirts of Nairobi, everybody is going apartments and offices. And we are not thinking, where will the food for all these people come from? So for me, that is something that we need to address as a matter of urgency, so that our finances in investment doesn't go up, and then we spend the whole investment in looking for food where we cannot even produce food. So I think we need to look at this urgently, but we need to look at it a little bit differently. How will the land use and planning benefit not just the Nairobi County or the Kiambu County, but the entire country?
Madam Chair, my question is, regarding Lamu, for example, that was actually government land. Mic. That was actually government land. People acquired it for a specific reason of getting compensation because there was a government project going there. And then the government went ahead to pay them. So what are you going to advise? That is exactly what I was trying to drive at.
I think that works hand in hand with what Madam Jane has asked about the use of unalienated public land. How do we protect this from the grabbers? So I think once you identify where the public land is, then you are able to protect it from the grabbers so that people don't come for compensation and say this is my land. And it's also happening even not just in Lamu, not just in Naivasha. Kenyans learn to know where roads are passing, and they put kiosks so that they can be compensated. So that is something that we need to address, and address it as a matter of urgency, and even put a penalty to somebody who goes to grab land for the benefit of being compensated when the particular...
That is Esther Murugi, Honorable Esther Murugi, former Nyeri Town Member of Parliament, being vetted for the position of member to the National Lands Commission. Now I would like to take you to Mombasa because Ezekiel Mutua, the CEO, Kenya Film Classification Board, had a press briefing from that region, and he was addressing, among other things, that clip that has been doing rounds online on the Consolata Kid. So let's listen in to what Ezekiel Mutua had to say.
Board, and we are here to issue a statement in regard to what has been happening, particularly the video that has gone viral about the minors that are exchanging some vulgar language. We wanted to put this matter into perspective or into the wider picture and ensure that the role of parents, the role of agencies that are supposed to regulate or monitor and observe what kids are watching, the role of the parents and everyone is synchronized and put in perspective, so that we don't appear as KFCB to say we told you so. Rather, out of this, we wanted to put the matter in perspective and see what measures, what intervention can we put in place to safeguard the moral values of our children, protect our children from exposure to harmful content, and ensure that they are safe places for our children. Any society in the world must create safe places for children. Even the internet, there must be safe places for children online. So this is about safe spaces, and how do we, who monitors those spaces, who creates the spaces in the first place, how do we sustain those spaces, and how do we ensure that the people who are supposed to play their role, play that role. But allow me, before then I come to those off-the-cuff remarks, to read the formal statement that we have for you today. The Kenya Film Classification Board notes with grave concern the influx of unrated and inappropriate content circulating on diverse media platforms, including social media, thus prematurely exposing our children to adult content. Further, the board notes that some unscrupulous filmmakers have resorted to filming without obtaining filming licenses from the board as required by the Films and Stage Plays Act Cap 222, particularly those who are filming in this region, the coast region, some of whom are actually exposing our children even to very foreign cultures, including bestiality. And we have had cases where we have arrested people, girls being paid to have sex with dogs. It has come to our notice that there are so many foreign NGOs that are actually being used to infiltrate our children or to access our children with bad content, to ruin their morals, and also TV and radio stations that are not observing the watershed period by airing content that is unsuitable for family viewing during that period. That is 5 in the morning or 5 in the morning to 10 in the evening. Exposure of children to pornography and obscenity is on the increase in our country, especially on the internet, and the measures must be put in place to stop this. It must be noted that making, exhibiting, and distributing unrated films is illegal, and any person involved in the same will be arrested and charged in accordance with the law. The board is currently investigating some unscrupulous film operators, as well as those operating unlicensed video dens, who continue to engage in unlawful business by exposing children to adult content, or allowing them to get into those video dens and to watch pornography and to watch bad content that is not suitable for children. Similarly, we have noted that there are people deliberately taking adult content to schools and institutions of learning and shouting wamlambez and detema to our children in public places where our children are accessing. This must stop. Those people should be arrested and charged. And the operators of video dens or theaters who are found allowing our children to access content that is meant for adults will have their licenses revoked. They can take this from us from today. A video of a child using foul language, which has gone viral on social media platforms, is a true depiction of the depth of the detrimental effects of consumption of unrated content on young children who are easily impressionable. In this regard, the board has received concerns from many parents and the general public concerning the interventions available for child online safety. The board has been in touch with the various parties involved in this matter, including the minors and the parents of the kids in question, and has approached other relevant government agencies to assist in stopping the creation and distribution of this kind of content. And we are hoping no other video will be distributed. We'll hold the internet service providers, the owners of the mutandaos that are being circulated. We have requested the DCI to ensure that this matter is treated seriously. Exposing our children to bad content is as good as terrorism. It's radicalization. There can be no argument or any debate about freedoms that will allow anyone to destroy the moral perspectives of our children. So the DCI, the ball is in your court, and we're asking you that you take action and ensure that our children remain safe. And we admire the vigor with which the DCI is working. But on this one, this is the most critical. The legacy of Dr. Fred Matiang'i and the DCI and the Inspector General of Police and the DPP, the legacy that they can leave for this country, the best legacy for their offices, would be in focusing in protecting children from exposure to harmful content. The board would like to announce today that there is a systematic, deliberate, and a coordinated effort to destroy the moral values of our children through unrated and inappropriate content. There are unscrupulous companies and individuals operating in this country who appear hell-bent on exposing children to pornography and other forms of inappropriate adult content through children TV programs, cartoons, and music that promotes obscenity, violence, and drugs. Many of the cartoon programs previously considered as safe for our children are no longer safe, and parents and guardians are urged to monitor what their children are watching, both on TV and online. The board has received numerous complaints that a lot of content in...
That is Ezekiel Motua, the CEO, Kenya Film Classification Board. You know, he attributes what is happening online, even with the utterances that are being made by minors, to unfit content that is being distributed by film and TV platforms in the country. However, the top story of the hour has been the vetting of commissioners to the National Lands Commission Board, and it has been the time of Esther Murugi, the former Nyeri Town Member of Parliament. Her vetting has just been concluded, being the second person to appear before the Departmental Committee on Lands. And just a brief profile on who Esther Murugi is. Born on the 21st of September 1953, flash forward to 1976 when she graduated with a Bachelor of Arts Lands Economics from the University of Nairobi. Between the periods of 1977 and 1980, she served as a lands officer in the Ministry of Lands, but notably is her appearance in Parliament in 2007 when she was elected under the Party of National Unity to represent Nyeri Town. And between the periods of 2008, she became the Cabinet Minister in charge of Children and Gender Affairs. And later on in 2010, she was moved to become the Cabinet Minister in charge of Special Programs. In 2013, she was re-elected Nyeri Town Member of Parliament, but this time around and with the National Alliance Party, that is TNA party ticket. And it is during this time that she became a member of the Departmental Committee on Lands, which was mandated to, among other things, come up with, good legal and policy framework that would guide the operations of the maiden National Lands Commission that was sworn into office in February 2013. So will this particular aspect of her CV work to her favor or to her detriment? Well, time will tell once this particular committee retreats to Mombasa later this week to report or to write a report on the ongoing vetting process. At this point, we'd like to take a break. We return at the top, not at the top of the hour, but quite literally within a few minutes to just wind up the show and carry on more content that will brief you on what is happening around you.